Kia ora, hello and welcome to this edition of Mainland Television News. I'm Phil Hawes. Coming up in this weekly roundup, a man's been charged over a series of arsons near Tapawera, a warning to avoid contact with the Maitai River, and local police on a mission to clean up Bridge Street. Nelson Bay's police have arrested a man and charged him in relation to a series of arsons in rural forestry blocks. The arrest comes as a result of an intensive 15-week joint investigation between Tasman District Police, Nelson Forest Limited and the Rural Fire Network Limited. A search warrant was executed at an address in the Murchison area on Thursday of this week with the assistance of the Armed Offenders Squad. As a result, a 71-year-old man was arrested and charged with 3 counts of arson. The charges relate to a number of deliberately lit fires in the forest south of Nelson between February and April of this year. The man's also been charged with 3 offences relating to the unlawful possession of firearms, 2 charges relating to the possession of a large amount of ammunition, and a charge relating to the possession of cannabis for supply. Those charges came as a result of a search of his address. The man was to make an appearance in the Nelson District Court today. With the lack of rainfall in recent weeks, the amount of cyanobacteria, also known as blue-green algae, has exploded in the shallow areas of the Maitai River. The highest levels appear to be near the Maitai Camp and in the lower Maitai River. Cyanobacteria is present in all of Nelson's waterways, but has particularly high coverage in those areas of the Maitai River. Now, the Nelson City Council has issued a warning to say that the area is not safe for swimming. The warning reads, the public is strongly advised to avoid swimming in any areas of the Maitai River until further notice. Dog owners should not allow their dogs to swim in the Maitai or drink from the river until advised otherwise. The City Council is in the process of erecting signage to that effect at most of the main swimming holes up and down the Maitai River. Cyanobacteria produces a neurotoxin, anatoxin, which is potentially lethal to dogs, stock and humans when ingested in large amounts. Dogs that are known to eat the algae are most at risk. Because of the bacteria being naturally occurring rather than the result of outside contamination, the City Council says there's little that can be done to eliminate it apart from waiting for the river to be cleared naturally by significant rainfall. Unfortunately, there's no rainfall forecast for the coming week. There have been no reports of problems in other rivers around the region. Dog owners are advised to swim their pets in the permitted areas at Te Hunanui Beach. The men found guilty in the long-running case over the murder of Nelson man Troy Minto were sentenced in the High Court in Nelson earlier this week. Justice Forrest Miller handed out the sentences to the 5 men more than 2 years after Troy Minto died after a brawl in the Maitai Valley. Blair McNaughton was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum non-parole period of 10 years. Blake Cunnard of Timaru was sentenced to 10 years in prison as party to the murder of Troy Minto. Isaac Warren received 4.5 years for manslaughter and 1 month for unlawful possession of a shotgun. Samuel Gilbanks was sentenced to 3 years and 3 months for manslaughter and 1 month for unlawful possession of a shotgun. And Jared Perry was sentenced to 1 year of home detention for manslaughter. Golden Bay High School is reviewing its internet policy after students were suspended for sending sexual images of a school student. The school is conducting a review of mobile phone and internet use. The incidents took place outside the school grounds and outside school time, but has had a lasting effect on the pupil involved. Golden Bay High School's headmaster Roger Farr says the school's doing what it can to cope with the problem, but says parents have to be involved too and ask themselves whether they know enough about how their children are using social media. Nelson's Bridge Street has gained a reputation for drunken and loutish behaviour over the past few years, with the area becoming renowned for unprovoked, alcohol-fuelled assaults. But things are in the process of changing, with Nelson Police on a mission to make Bridge Street safe for the city's clubbing set and to stamp out what has become a feeling of lawlessness in that part of Nelson's CBD. I spoke to Nelson Bay's Area Commander Steve Greeley earlier this week to find out more about the operation. Steve, obviously the police are pouring some resources into this operation.
Yeah, we really are. It's been this way for a long time, unfortunately. Nelson's such a great place, but it's sort of a scourge, I guess, is the Nelson bar scene, what we have on Bridge Street. But to make this thing work, we need resources, and that's what we're using.
I noticed that you pulled in people from Blenheim for this recent weekend operation, so obviously, you know, this is going to be taxing on police resources.
Yeah, but it's worth it. When we look at the Prevention First strategy, we're talking about 5 drivers of crime. Alcohol is actually one of those drivers. So we're focusing all our efforts on understanding what the problems are and resourcing it appropriately. And that'll mean bringing people from Blenheim, maybe from the West Coast, anywhere we can get them, and to making sure that we don't let this go. We're here for the long term.
It appears to me too that violence has been, behaviour that's been targeted here especially. I noticed that there are reports about the declining level of violence on the street as a result of this. Has that been of particular concern to police?
Violence is always a very big concern to police. When we're talking about under prevention, we're trying to reduce victims. Victims of violence it's a huge toll on society. It's a huge toll on our community. We've got innocent people out there at Bridge Street trying to have a good time. Alcohol is a great thing to enjoy yourself with, but to abuse it, that's when we have problems. So the violence comes as a result of that. By our stance, our hardline approach, and is hardline, there are no apologies about that, it means that we're preventing people becoming victims of violence. That anecdotally at this stage is having an effect, a downline effect on the admissions to the A&E. Fewer people presenting there with alcohol-related harm injuries. So that's an outstanding thing for us too. So we're all better off without the violence.
Talk to me about the pre-charge warnings, because you're not just barrelling people straight off to court. It's sort of a detox and then get out the door and think about what you've done.
Sure. Part of the bigger umbrella, I suppose, is policing excellence, and out of that comes a whole lot of things to try and make New Zealand Police more contemporary. We're up to date with how society is these days, and we actually become more effective. And so part of that is a work stream called alternate resolutions. The idea is to reduce prosecutions. We're not talking traffic. We're talking just crime prosecutions by 19%, and we're on our way to doing that now. There's a very good reason for that. It's not so much the money. It's not so much forgetting about accountability at all. It's what it is making sure that our victims that are occurring are actually getting their day in court a lot earlier. There's been backlogs in the past right around the country. This way we can just filter out the small stuff and deal with that another way, and unclog the courts so that people do get their day in court and resolve properly.
Okay. So if they're not a real pain in the butt and not showing repetitive behaviour, then obviously they're getting time to think about what they've done.
Oh, absolutely. No, you see, there's a few things about the pre-charge warning. Not everybody gets one. There are a few things. You've got to be at least 17 years old, so you're an adult in the eyes of the law. It can't be for an offence that has more than 6 months imprisonment attached to it, where the maximum penalty is, and it cannot be related to family violence or possession of methamphetamine. So that's your parameter, but there's other considerations as well. Considerations such as the victim's views, any reparation involved, the criminal history of the person, have they had other pre-charge warnings for the same offence? Those sorts of things come into it, and evidential sufficiency. So we take all that into account, and then we make a decision. Is this person eligible for a pre-charge warning? Just because you've had a pre-charge warning for breach of liquor ban doesn't mean you can't get one for fighting in a public place or disorder or another smaller offence. But if you get arrested again for breach of liquor ban, you're not going to get one.
Steve, there's a lot of talk at the moment too around the use of alcohol, especially by our youth in this country.
Yep.
And obviously there's a lot of drunken behaviour going on Bridge Street on Friday and Saturday night. Absolutely. The question is too, we've lived in a world now where there are rules around who publicans can serve. Yep. There are signs up in bars, we can't serve you if you're drunk, but it doesn't seem to be working. Are the publicans playing their part in this?
Well, I'll have to say that most publicans are playing their part. It's just a select few who are letting the side down. Through our graduated response model, we're targeting those licensees, making sure they're held to account for the way they run their business. Quite obviously, you get drunken people on premises being served by bar staff. That's not happening. That's against the Sale of Liquor Act, and we will hold them accountable for that. Every time we drag somebody out of there who is either underage or has been served, and we've seen it, we'll be taking that through to the DLA. So licensees, like I said, it's not all of them. Most of them are playing a very, very good role in this, and they understand their legislative obligations as well as their social responsibility. So, but yeah, no, you'd have to say that if they don't get that by now, should they really have been in charge of a pub?
Is this approach going to be ongoing that you've taken on Bridge Street?
It most definitely will be ongoing. As police, we've got a way of resourcing this. I'm committing my resources to exactly this. I've said it in the media in the past, and that is my promise to Nelson Bays. For us to let up now would be ridiculous. and would cause victimisation all over the place. We can't have it. So no, police are very, very, very keen to back this.
You know, Steve, you've come from, I guess, what we'd consider worse areas of the country than what we experience here in Nelson County's Manukau. Is this happening as a result of some of your previous experience?
That brings a part to the solution, I guess. It's of some things that I have seen, but to be honest, County's Manukau has a lot of great things going for it, and being a big metropolitan area, there's all sorts of problems. However, when I came to Nelson Bays, one thing I was amazed about was the fact that for such a beautiful area, we have this problem to this degree. So there's all sorts of problem solving going on here. It's not just my police officers getting out there and doing the hardline, frontline stuff. It's also about challenging the licensees in terms of the DLA. It's also about understanding what other factors contribute to this, such as the council have a part to play here, which I've spoken with the mayor. I've voiced our concerns, and the council are committed in working with police to address it. But these are long-term issues. It's not exactly something that we can just go like that and it's sorted. But it is high on the agenda for council and for police and other areas as well. So I fully expect we're going to succeed here.
Inspector Steve Greeley, thanks for talking to us at Mainland Television.
No, you're welcome. Thank you.
Coming up after the break here on Mainland Television News, the Nelson City Council stops its solar water incentive scheme. We talk to a very happy war veteran and get to meet the sirens of Smash. It's coming right after the break.
In the centre of Mapua is a magical shop called Tessa May's with a whole lot of attitude. You will see bags from Italy and France, jewellery from Israel, beautiful quilts from Kashmir, Angora throws, furniture and cushions, wonderful products from all over the world and New Zealand made. The customers are saying they could stay all day. Call out and see the friendly staff at Tessa May's, the village centre, Mapua, open 7 days.
Mandy Computing welcomes you to our new location at 124 Vanguard Street in Nelson. We still offer an extensive product range of computer hardware and software. We supply, install and service, along with support contracts. We have over 30 years of expert advice for home and business customers. Come and see Murray, Steve, Fraser and Denise. Give us a call on 546 8045. Mandy Computing. We have megabytes of experience.
Welcome back, you're watching Mainland Television News. I'm Phil Hawes. Nelson police are on the alert for car thieves who have been targeting parked cars in the Port Nelson area. Police are warning people who leave cars parked at Port Nelson not to leave any valuables inside their vehicles. Around a dozen cars have been broken into in the area over the past few weeks, and Sergeant Dave Prentice of Nelson Police said vehicles had been broken into in Vickerman and Ackerston Streets, as well as at the Nelson Marina. A number of items had been stolen during those break-ins, including mobile phones and cash. Dave Prentice said anyone leaving vehicles at the port for any length of time should remove any valuables. A World War II veteran who's become the focus for a flurry of community support is now smiling as the question over his attendance at the unveiling of a Bomber Command Memorial in London in June has been solved. We took the mainland cameras down to meet John Beeching earlier this week. So John, take us back to the moment when you first found out that you weren't going to be eligible to make the trip. How did that feel to you?
Well, I was completely shattered because initially we were told, OK, we were going to take our wives and everything was going to be looked after. About a month later, I got this letter from the Veterans Affairs to say that anybody who did not have a Royal New Zealand Air Force number was no longer eligible to go, which was completely shattering because, after all, we were in the same Air Force during the war. We were in Bomber Command together, we lived together, we flew together, we died together. But, so it was really a bitter disappointment. So I thought, well, where do we go from here? Nowhere. So I cast it from my mind virtually. So that's how I felt. I felt awfully, awfully disappointed about the whole thing.
Well, obviously things have changed quite a bit since that moment, and people have really stepped in around the community.
Look, I just wanted to say thanks to everybody. We cannot believe the overwhelming generosity of people. We never expected anything like this, The support has flowed in, not just from New Zealand. It came in, there's a man in Australia said, I've got enough air points to take you there and back. And we even had donations from a pensioner in the UK, would you believe? You know, it was quite incredible. But there we are. So, you know, and of course now they're talking about taking the NZ contingent to England on a 4-day trip in the 757. So they say it's an ill wind that blows nobody no good, so I think we came out of this rather well, don't you? Yeah.
It is a done deal now, John. You're
yes,
definitely...
a done deal. Yeah, absolute done deal, yep.
Now, tell us what's going to go on when you get there.
Well, there's be a day before, but the main function is on the 28th of June in Green Park. Mm-hmm. There's about 800 seats reserved for veterans and another 2,000 for support people like wives, partners, so forth and so on. And the Queen will be there. She hasn't got far to go. I mean, Buckingham Palace is only across the road from Green Park, you see, so they can get there quite easily. And so I don't know what there'll be a 1-hour service apparently, according to the program we've been sent anyway. And then next day there's going to be some sort of a banquet or something, but put on by the New Zealand delegates, so I don't suppose we'll be including there because being RAF, we're sort of pariahs, you know, so there we are.
Are you aware if there will be men there that you flew with?
Well, that picture over on the wall there, there's the bottom one of what was remaining of our squadron in 1985, I think it was. I can only locate 2 who are still with us. Yep. The others have gone to the big officers' mess up in the sky, you see.
Okay. Okay, so you'll be looking forward to at least touching base with...
Oh, well, I've already contacted those. Yeah. And with a bit of luck, we're taking a bit of time off after this ceremony for a few days and be able to... Hopefully there's enough money for us to go and see them. One's in Norfolk and the other one's down in Somerset, so it will involve a bit of travel, so right. That's our intention.
Once you've been and returned, John, we're going to have to ask you for another interview and just find out how it all went and how the occasion was for you.
If there's anything left of me by then, yes. But anyway, that's fine. I don't mind at all now. I'm starting to get used to this business because I'm not by nature a public speaker, you understand.
Hey, look, congratulations. Yeah. It's great to see the smile on your face.
Yeah, oh, it's good. Yeah, we're absolutely happy. And this really does mean a lot to me, you know, more than the average person would know because they weren't there and I was, you know, because let's face it, you know, bombing during the war wasn't the most pleasant of things to do, and it did leave its scars and it did leave its memories. So it'll be nice to get together with those people that I still know and, of course, people I didn't know because we're all going to be part of the same age-old memories, you know. It was 70 years ago now, wasn't it?
That's right.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And there's been some wonderful offshoots from this because in a roundabout way, a man phoned me from Australia yesterday, whom I went to school and lived right next door to him in England 75 years ago.
Wow.
And he got on the phone and an hour later he was still talking, so I don't know what his telephone bill was.
It's an amazing small world.
It was absolutely amazing, yeah. It's been a wonderful experience, that's all I can say.
A Richmond retailer has been threatened with legal action over a breakfast cereal he's been importing from England to sell to expatriates in the region. But the makers of Weet-Bix are not happy about the arrival of Weetabix into the region and say that the British company has broken an agreement by allowing the product to be imported here under that name. We took the mainland cameras out to English Bob's Emporium to talk to renegade cereal dealer Bob Wren. Well, a bit of a row's broken out over intellectual property and brand names here at English Bob's Emporium in Richmond. Now, Bob, first of all, tell us what happened. You had a visit from a sanitarium rep, is that correct?
Yeah, I had a visit from the North Island rep and the local rep, I think it was. Yeah, they came in and demanded I take Weetabix off my shelves, of which I only sell about 1 or 2 a week. And God knows how they found me in the first place.
Well, I guess that's the question. First of all, these Weetabix. Now, that's an English product, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And are they similar to the same product that's sold here, the Weet-Bix?
Yeah, they are similar, but they're a bit lighter and a bit more fluffy.
Okay, all right. And they're a bit of a favourite for English people around the community?
They are. People have asked me to get them in, so I do. And all I do is sell English stuff to what English people want. If they don't like Weet-Bix, they're not going to buy Weet-Bix.
Right. But, yeah. And obviously you haven't got queues out the door here and going down the street of people queuing up to buy thousands of boxes of this product, have you?
No, not at all. It's very obscure.
Okay. So the question is, how do you think they found you?
I don't know. They might have seen one box on the shelf as they walked past and then called in the army.
Are you feeling a bit bullied at this point?
I was feeling very bullied actually, because they threatened me immediately with lawyers, and their lawyers would get in touch with my lawyers, and then they said they were up for competition, but really they're not. And yeah, I was feeling a bit threatened.
So Bob, what are you going to do? Are you going to take the product off the shelves? What's going to happen next?
Well, I might have to take it off the shelves, I don't know. But I might just cover the label over and put my own label on it.
Okay, so it might become Bob Bix.
Yeah, or Bobbly Bix, or something like that.
So in the meantime, those English in the community that might be thinking, well, where am I going to get my Weetabix? Have you got a couple of boxes left that you might let slip out the door, or what's going to be the story with the last remaining stocks at this stage? And are you going to get yourself a lawyer?
No, I'm not going to get myself a lawyer because it just costs too much and I can't afford it. I'm a small business, I'm struggling to survive, same as everybody. And you know, why should they come in my shop and do this? I'm not even advertising it, so I don't know what's going on. I'll keep what I've got, I will sell, and if I have to cover the label, I will. It's still the same stuff.
You know, just a question too, is there similar products like this? Are there other products coming from Britain that have a resemblance to the New Zealand counterparts?
Oh, yeah, there's things like cornflakes. I mean, cornflakes are cornflakes. How can you argue about this? Yeah. You know, there's all sorts of things which are similar to New Zealand products, which are out there and in the supermarkets.
Right. And did you believe the line, everybody's for competition?
No, not at all. She said that it was good for the economy and they welcome competition. Well, I don't believe they do, at all.
Right. Hey, look, thanks for having us here at English Bob's Emporium. It's a delightful looking store, and best of luck with the Weetabix saga as it continues.
Right, thank you very much.
And finally in this roundup, roller derby is not a sport that many Nelsonians will be familiar with. But there's a chance that that's about to change with an event coming up at the Trafalgar Centre next month. Nelson's Sirens of Smash are staging a three-way roller derby bout in a sport where the action is fast and spectacular. I caught up with the Sirens of Smash during a practice session earlier this week. I'm talking to Tara Ford, otherwise known as the Tararist, and also Kel for Leather. Now, Tara, tell us the history behind this.
Well, the Sirens of Smash set up in Nelson probably about 18 months ago, and we've been skating hard, and we bouted against Blenheim, maybe a month ago? Yep. And next week we're playing Blenheim, and we've got a really big bout coming up at the end of May. The first South Island triple header with all three South Island teams, so it'll be a big event happening in Nelson, and we're hoping Nelson comes out to support us.
Kelfel, from what I've seen here so far, you've got some pretty hard nuts out here.
We have, but we've also got people from all different walks of life. It doesn't really fit into any stereotype. There's all different women here from all different backgrounds.
And this is something that requires quite a high level of fitness, just looking from an outside point of view.
Yeah, it does. You're not even allowed to play until you pass a skills test, and part of the skills test is a fitness test on 25 laps. You've got to do it within 5 minutes. If you don't, then you don't pass.
It's not all stockings and eye makeup. There is a certain amount of being a sportswoman involved and training, and yeah.
Look, obviously the rules for this are going to be a bit of a mystery to the onlooking audience to start with. Is there going to be an opportunity for people to find out a wee bit how this works before the evening that's coming up at Trafalgar Centre?
Yeah, well, on the back of the program, we have instructions for how to watch Derby. But generally, you watch the person with the star on their head. They're the point scorer. Okay. So if people follow that, then you get the gist of the game.
Yeah.
Kelly, has it taken
you some good hits in there?
Kelly, has it taken you a while to really get into this, to learn the rules and become a bit of a pro?
Absolutely, I'm still learning. I still don't know all the rules, but as far as getting into it, no, I was hooked after my first fresh meat intake. I was completely addicted. Yep.
Tara, you said this has been building for 6 months. How hard has it been for you to acquire the number of women you've got involved so far?
Oh, it's been running for probably about 18 months, and a lot of the same girls have been coming back. We have fresh meat intake, so we take on new skaters. So we just started another one of them tonight, but it takes a little while for the girls to get up to scratch to be able to be taking hits and giving hits, and you want to make sure you can skate first before you start getting too rough on it.
This is a pretty physical sport.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Definitely full contact. It's probably my dad describes it as rugby on roller skates, or a bull rush is a good one.
Yeah.
Termination.
You're hitting people and being hit on the shoulder, and on the hip. So those are like points of contact. On the sides are where you want to hit people. You can't hit people from behind.
Your torso is your tool of the trade. You're allowed to hit like this. Anything else is, if your arms or feet is illegal, and you'd be sent straight off.
Let's talk about what's going to go on at the Trafalgar Centre. What can people look forward to on the night?
Well, we're opening the doors at 6 and we've got a little bit of entertainment happening. The first game starts at 7 and there'll be 3 teams playing. There's the Sirens of Smash from Nelson and Tasman. There's Dead End Derby from Christchurch, and the Dunedin team is the Dunedin team. Yeah, Dunedin Derby.
It'd be a great way to have a first taste of Derby because the games are going to be short. Seeing it's 3 teams playing, they're going to be 20-minute bouts at the start, so it'll be all really fast-paced and exciting. It'll be a great way to first see Derby.
And it's on the 26th of May at the Trafalgar Centre, and people can get their tickets from Everyman Records, or they can look us up on Facebook and find out how to get a ticket.
And there's going to be more to the night than roller derby as well, isn't it?
Yeah, there will be. So we've got the 3 of us playing in a triple header, and then we've got an after party happening at the Trafalgar Centre where we've got bands, and there's alcohol for sale at the Trafalgar Centre, so have a bit of a party afterwards, a victory party hopefully we're aiming for, but there might be a few bruises as well, but that's just part of it.
Describe to us just quickly what's been going on in the background while we've been talking.
Well, this is every week we have a Sunday scrimmage, just like Sunday roast, but it's Sunday scrimmage, and that's different from a training session, where a training session is you're learning new skills and putting repetition. But on a Sunday scrimmage, we come along and we actually play against each other. So it's upper level, and we do this every week in preparation for our bouts, which are every few kind of months really, because they are quite a big deal. Right. And those are the ones that we invite the public along to, and yeah.
And Kelly, any special tactics being worked for these teams coming into town?
Oh, I couldn't tell you that. I'd have to kill you. But a few of our girls have just been away to a training camp in the North Island, Blood and Thunder, so they've come back with some really good pointers. So hopefully we'll have a few tricks up our sleeves by the time the game comes.
Hey, well, look, the Tarist and Kill for Leather, best of luck with the upcoming bout, and we wish you the best too for the night at the Trafalgar Centre.
Cool, thank you. And people can follow us on Facebook, the Sirens of Smash Roller Derby.
Looks like another great weekend ahead. Let's take a look at the details. And that's our roundup for another week here at Mainland Television News. Don't forget as well, there is those wonderful Lest We Forget celebrations happening right across the weekend at Nelson's Founders Heritage Park. Entry is just by a gold coin donation. Now join us Monday as we talk to both the region's mayors about the results of the amalgamation poll, and also find out about groundbreaking research taking place at Nelson's Cawthron Institute. Wishing you a safe and enjoyable weekend on behalf of the team here, I'm Phil Hawes for Mainland Television News.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.